Welcome to Ordinary Teachers and Students. These bonus episodes, 1, 2, 3, 4 teachers, are concepts or ideas, mostly from psychology, that I feel will benefit teachers. Rather than giving you a 90-minute lecture about them, I thought a bite-sized episode like this would be more suited for busy teachers like you. My name is Alan Cheng, and I'm a life coach and university lecturer. My vision is to make life coaching a part of every school. Right, the original plan was to move on to my 3-part series on eating, sleeping, and exercise. But whilst planning for those episodes, I realized that a common theme would be habit building. And I think habit building is like the most fundamental aspect of our lives, because when we feel like we can build or break habits, we feel like we're more in control of our own lives. So today's one concept is building and breaking habits. Two things that I think you need to know about building and breaking habits. Well, actually, there's so many, but if I had to come up with two that I think are very important, the first one would be that we're more likely to start a new habit on dates that feel like beginnings. So, for example, New Year, a new school year, or landmark birthdays like 30 when you turn 30 or 40. So what we want to do is make the most of these fresh starts. I do understand that a lot of people are very skeptical about New Year's resolutions, and there's like some claims of how many people fail them. I'm actually a big fan of New Year's resolutions, and I feel that many New Year's resolutions fail because people have not been planning those habits or resolutions well enough. I've also, fallen foul to setting New Year's resolutions and not doing them or completely forgetting about them. But one thing that I've done recently that I've tried to address this has been putting in days for stopping to evaluate my own habits and plans. So basically, at the end of each month, I will take a look at my habits, my plans that I've set, or goals that I've set to evaluate whether I've made any progress towards them. So having done this, it's helped me make the most of the habits that I set during these fresh starts or fresh beginnings or New Year's. The second thing I think we need to know about building and breaking habits is that some people are better with more rigid goals and others are better with more flexible ones. So what I mean by rigid goals would be things like, oh, I will go to the gym every Friday evening. So that's very rigid, and it's actually quite a good goal to have or habit to have, because some people claim that habits are best when they become part of your routine. So imagine I go to the gym every Friday evening after work. That seems a very nice habit to have. But like I said, some people are great with that, but others aren't. So other people might find that it's too controlling, and so they want it to be more flexible. So instead of I will go to the gym every Friday evening after work, they might say I will go to the gym once a week after work. This might be more effective because let's say you miss Friday, you have a really busy Friday, or you have a social gathering on Friday, and you're like, should I go to the gym? Should I go to the gathering? Should I just stay at home? And once you miss one, then it becomes very easy to miss the next one and the next one, because you missed the Friday. You're not going to go on Saturday because your habit was always Friday. But if we make it more flexible, as in once a week after work, then it gives us actually more choices in terms of when we go to the gym. Right, 3 practical implementations. So there are many authors that I admire in terms of the work they've done related to habit building, and one of them is James Clear, and I'm sure you've heard of his book Atomic Habits. If you haven't, highly recommend it. It's a book worth reading if you're interested in setting new habits. But in the book, James talks about 4 steps to set new habits, and they are: make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. I'm not going to go through all 4 steps in detail because I think you could just go online or read the book yourself. But if I give an example, like making it obvious, if you're hoping to set a habit of eating more healthily, one way to make it obvious would be putting fruit or healthy snacks on your kitchen table, or putting like a jar of water in a more visible place. So a big argument that James Clear has is that the environment that we're in and how we use it to shape our habits is actually much more important than our personal motivation. Um, the opposite of the four steps is also true for eliminating bad habits. So it'll be making it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. So if we use the food example again, it'll be making, let's say you don't want to eat some unhealthy snacks like, I don't know, crisps or certain types of chocolate, um, making it invisible, like not buying it, or making it difficult to find or reach, like hiding it in a cupboard, putting it somewhere that's more difficult to get, can help you to eliminate this habit. So those are James Clear's four steps. Another thing that James Clear mentions, and actually another author, B.J. Fogg, mentioned is habit stacking. So this is sometimes also known as cue-based habits. And the idea is that you pair a new habit with a current habit. So the current habit is actually the cue that makes you do the new habit. It's great. I think it's one of the most effective methods for habit setting, and you make the most of what you currently do in terms of habits, and you pair it with a new habit. So in James Clear's book, he has like a formula saying, before or after I do X, I will do Y. So as an example, I started flossing my teeth, I think about 8 years ago, um, 8 or 9, I would say. And so to think about it like this, so flossing your teeth, you might think about, okay, what current habits do I have related to teeth? And that might be eating, it could be brushing your teeth. It can be a bit inconvenient to floss your teeth immediately after eating, particularly when you're out and about. So I decided, okay, I'm going to floss my teeth before I brush my teeth in the evening. And so I've kept this habit up until today. The third practical implementation is the idea of temptation bundling, and I read this in Katie Milkman's book, How to Change the Science of Getting from where you are to where you want to be. And the idea of temptation bundling is that you bundle a temptation with a habit that you want to form. So one thing that she uses as an example is always the idea, imagine you're addicted to watching Netflix and you want to set a new habit of going to the gym, then you might set yourself a habit or a rule to yourself that you can only watch Netflix when you're at the gym. So you kind of achieve both at the same time. And that's why it's called temptation bundling. The four takeaways I hope you get from this episode would be the first, that something Gretchen Rubin actually said. So Gretchen Rubin is another author who has written a lot about habits. Um, she said, habits eliminate the need for self-control. And that's such a profound statement. There's also an article that I read from Gretchen, which summarizes her book about habits into 21 sentences or strategies about habit formation. So I'll include that in the show notes for you. The second takeaway from James Clear again, that we're more likely to stick to a habit not because of motivation, but because it's become a part of our identity. So this is a really important idea and something I've been playing with myself, because I feel that when the habits are a part of our identity, we're really much more likely to stick with them than if they're just random habits that I kind of want to do, but I'm not sure why I want to do them. Moving back to Gretchen, so the third takeaway, something again she said, which I think is quite profound, is what I do every day matters more than what I do once in a while, and that's why habits are so important. And finally, again from James Clear, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So our habits that we do every day, they're the system that we build for ourselves. So whether we have a good day or bad day, we're likely to fall to that level in terms of our system. And that's why it's so critical to think about habit building. We're going to revisit some of these ideas in the coming episodes about eating, sleeping, and exercising. So I hope you join us again next time on Ordinary Teachers and Students.